Hey, how you guys doing? So we've all been there before. You're watching your favorite YouTuber build some amazing project and you're inspired. That is for a moment. Then you see him pull out a tenoning jig, a mortising jig, thin rip jig, cabinet style table saw, a planer, and then the sinking feeling starts to set in that you don't actually have any of those tools. I remember when I first started woodworking, I always had this feeling that I needed about $10,000 worth of tools to start. I mean, there's so many cool tools on the market, and don't get me wrong, every time I watch a video, there's about a dozen more tools that I didn't know I needed, but suddenly I need. Okay, but here's the truth about tools and jigs, and I'll tell you this short little story. I used to know this guy who was blessed with a lot of money, and I don't say that in a negative way at all. He was actually a really good guy, really generous, but he had this advantage, and when he would get into a hobby, before actually getting into the hobby, he would buy the whole arsenal. For example, he started mountain bike riding, and before he even bought the mountain bike, he actually bought a car to carry his mountain bike. And he was excited about the hobby for a little bit, but then in a couple months, the interest waned and he was stuck with the full arsenal that he just bought, and he would move on to the next hobby. Now, I know we can all relate to this on some level. We've all gotten super excited about something and then just seen our motivation drop off in the coming months. So who's ever been so excited that they buy up some new gear only to have that passion just kind of fizzle out, and you don't really know what happened? You just kind of lose interest. So this happens to us because we create an image in our head of what that passion is gonna look like. We imagine us acquiring a piece of equipment or embarking on some sort of endeavor, and immediately we have this feeling that we're gonna experience a new sort of feeling. But instead of that, we experience the frustrations or a setback. See, when we watch a master craftsman use an expensive tool or a set of tools, we think that we can shortcut the feeling that we would get from completing the project by just buying the tools that he has. So we all have this tendency to project our deepest dreams and passions on a physical object. And it's no wonder, it's the easy thing to do. So even the most logical, engineering focused minds do this. And we would all like to believe that we are perfectly logical and we only make decisions because they make sense. But a lot of times it's our emotions that are driving even our purchasing decisions. So here's the hard truth about tools, jigs, and gadgets. The truth is that what's really gonna give you the motivation, what's gonna fuel your passion, is completing something today. And that might be the metaphorical today because it might already be night for you. But completing something right now is gonna be infinitely more inspiring than buying something. So you don't need to wait to amass a whole collection of tools to start building something. For example, this workbench that I'm standing behind, I was able to build this with a handsaw, a plane, a couple chisels, and a square. And honestly, the sense of accomplishment and passion I had for woodworking was so much greater than any purchase I had made after it. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my big tools, I love my bandsaw, my table saw, but buying them didn't give me that feeling that I got from just completing this table with a couple really basic hand tools. And that feeling fueled me to other projects. When I finished this table, I knew that I could pretty much build anything. And I took on a dining room table project even though I still didn't have a planer, I didn't have a joiner, I didn't have the big tools for dealing with rough cut lumber. But I knew that I could actually get the project done with the tools I had. So when thinking about building up your workspace and acquiring tools, there's two categories of actions that I like to look at things. One of those is a consumption category. The other is a creation category. Now, things like shopping, eating, watching YouTube videos are all consuming. You're consuming entertainment, you're consuming product, you're consuming food. Now, on the flip side, there are creating activities. Those activities include things such as cleaning, you're creating order. Things such as planning, you're creating a design. Building, you're creating a physical object. Now, consumption in and of itself is not bad. We all need to consume food, we need to consume water in order to stay alive. The problem is when there's an imbalance between consuming activities and creating activities. For instance, have you ever stayed home all day and eaten pizza and online shopped while watching videos? How did you feel that day or the next day? Conversely, have you ever had a hard day's work and then you go to a restaurant and you order a huge burger? Intuitively, you have this feeling that you really kind of deserve that burger when you order it. Whereas when you stay home, doing nothing but watching videos, shopping, and eating, you feel guilty. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie and tell you that I don't love any of the big tools that I have, but I am gonna leave you with this, that if you wanna fuel your passion, your creativity, learn to master the tools that you have. It's gonna be infinitely more rewarding to complete a project that you didn't think that you had the resources for, the tools, the space, the ideal condition. So I'm gonna leave you with this last piece of wisdom from the good book. From everyone who has been given much, much more will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted much, much more will be asked. So learn to use what you have and use it well, and you will always get more if you do well with what you have. All right, so thanks for watching the video, guys. Tell me your thoughts below in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to hear what you guys think. Take care and see you soon.
See you soon on the moon.